Professor H.M.J.C. Pitawala, Dean, Faculty of Applied Sciences and Chairman of the Research Committee. Mr. G.H. Abevira, Dean, Faculty of Management. Professor Kolita B. Vijayasekara, Dean, Faculty of Technological Studies. Mr. M.F. Hibatul Karim, Registrar. Ms. Katie J. Pereira, Bursa. Dr. Kumari Kulatunga, Acting Librarian. Dr. K.M.M.C.B. Kulatunga, Conference Coordinator. Dr. N.M.N. Nambapana, Conference Secretary. Professor Dinesh Jayasena, Editor-in-Chief. Professor Ruan Ranasinghe, Director OTS. Professor Sisira Edirivira, Faculty of Applied Sciences. Our chief guest, Professor Jayantalal Ratnasekara, Mr. G.H. Abevira, Professor H.M.S.K. Herath, Professor H.M.J.C. Pitawala, and Professor Kolita B. Vijayasekara. I invite you to take your seats at the head table. Thank you. Let us now rise for the university anthem.
Namunu kuli, mamere dalete, ebine sulan, eli osse, dunni nadia lumatia, el visula sita pudaverse. Mayangana, upiyangana, veravadina, filuretse, මබලයි සරසවිය අපේ පිහිටි ඌව වෙල්ලස්සේ
and all participants who are joining with us physically and virtually. It is my pleasure and honor to welcome you all to the International Research Conference of Wellassa University of Sri Lanka 2022. Research is the foundation of knowledge. The knowledge that created through research should be shared with the entire world to make it useful for others. We, as Wellassa University of Sri Lanka, has identified international research conferences as such a platform for disseminating knowledge to the world. Throughout the last decade, Wellassa University has conducted 6 symposia and 5 international research conferences. In keeping with this tradition, we plan to have a conventional international research conference in 2022. However, due to the current economic crisis, we had to proceed with the virtual conference. We have set our theme as elevating the quest for resilience to sprint forward, aiming to uncover new avenues to combat current local and global challenges. One objective of selecting such a theme was to be an encouragement to develop our capacities in such a difficult period. Same as the 5th International Research Conference in 2021, with the guidance of the Vice Chancellor Sir and the directions of the Research Committee Chair, we accepted our first challenge of having an international conference even during such a period of crisis. Even though the country is going through a difficult time, it seems like the researchers have overcome it very well, because we received more than 500 abstracts for the researchers under 10 thematic areas. Among those submissions, after competitive review process, we chose about 240 abstracts to present in today's conference. Today is the culmination of all our efforts. The researchers will present 240 research findings as oral presentations. During the presentations, we will select the best scientific study using scientific evaluation criteria for abstracts and presentations. I appreciate all the parties for being with us, and I wish all the presenters and authors the very best. Hope you will be enjoying the conference. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, and very good morning to all. Vice Chancellor Sir, Deans of the faculties, two keynote speakers, Registrar, Bursa, Acting Librarian, my colleague staff members, administrative officers, non-academic staff members, and all the participants. It is my pleasure to deliver a speech in this forum. So, as the research committee chairman, we all know the meaning of research. Research means search again. So when you are searching something again and again, we have to imagine. Without imagination, we can't search the things. Then I fully agree with what Albert Einstein said. Imagination is the highest form of research. That's the way he thought on research. So now I would like to share some data with you about the research and development expenditures worldwide in 2022. So you can clearly see, according to this data, actually values are in billion US dollars. United States spent around 679 billion US dollars. Likewise, second place we have China, Japan, Germany, South Korea, France, India, United Kingdom, and so on. So only few countries we have included here. the important thing is our nearby country now in 7th place. Actually, I did not provide any data here about the Sri Lankan one, but we are very far below. So this is also keep in mind, but we have, and current situation also is not good. Therefore, allocation on research is very little, but not recent years, even fast as well. So in this figure, you can see in my y-axis, we have researchers per million population for different countries. In x-axis, we have research and development as a percent of GDP. So according to that one, actually, if we are going in the correct way, we have to go in this direction, in this one, right? So all the data has normalized according to the R&D spending of United States. Now you can see clearly, US has the highest research output, and also China. Then, not bad, South Korea actually leading in the world, and India. So again, if I go the values on x-axis, it is research and development as a percent of GDP. According to that one, I think we will be in very close to this 0 place. So my message here, so we have to think about the development of research, although we have little funding. So then now I will show you the Sri Lanka's research among South Asian countries. First, I must thank these data gave me Dr. Pradeepan. This moment I should remind him. So according to the data seen here, India has around 1.6 million research papers. Then second place, Pakistan, 192, around 192,000 research papers. Third place goes to Bangladesh, around 61,000 research publications. Then we are in the 4th place. We have 21,000, nearly 22,000 publications. Then Nepal, around 17,000. Bhutan, 1,300. Maldives, 435. So, of course, I did not provide any data on research and development funding for India and Pakistan, but they are, as I show, they are far above. But at least we have to focus to go to close to Bangladesh. So there we are very far from the Bangladesh as well. So then little more about information. These data belongs to years 2012 to 2021. Sri Lanka's 137 papers in the top 1% well-cited recent papers. During this period, we have nearly 137 papers in the top 100% well-cited papers. And I am happy to say that there is a one paper from Wellassa University is also in the top 1% well-cited paper during this period. Then I think you may have seen this map. This is a global literacy rate. The message is, compared to the data that I showed earlier, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, so on, literacy rate, they are very far below to us. However, their publication has increased and they have higher publication rate than us. The literacy rate, we are very close to the developed countries. So keep this in mind. So this is actually the data for 2018, according to the NSF, National Research and Development Survey, human resources research development in Sri Lankan context. So we have a higher number in natural sciences and also medical sciences. Nearly 1,462 researchers were there at that time. And second place goes to agricultural science. Likewise, engineering, technology, social sciences. There are some areas actually not specified correctly. So these data for the human resources we have in Sri Lankan research and development culture. Then this figure also, you can see about the SCI journal publication time trend from 2014 to 2018, and blue color represent the total number of journal articles by the Sri Lankan authors in SCI journal. Then the next color, number of journal articles with foreign co-authorship, the collaborative research work we have. Then we have journal articles with foreign co-authorship as a percentage. So when we see the data, it is not very bad when we work with co-authorship, comparably okay, but going from 2014 to 18, there is a little reduction. So we have to bring this up as well. So then annual research productivity of Sri Lanka from 2012 to 2021, we can happy when you see the data from 2012 to 2021, it is increasing dramatically. So this is a good message for all Sri Lankan researchers. Then I will say, I would like to show you which discipline are the leading in Sri Lanka. In this one, you can see medicine, computer science, engineering, agriculture, environmental science, so on, the distribution we have here. Then annual research productivity of Wellassa University, our university, because this is also really interesting to know. So these data also belongs to 2012 to 21. We collected this data from Scooper Citation Database. According to that one, from 2012, actually, around we had around 3 papers. Then it was increased to 2013, 18, 19, 26. So likewise, we are going up, and there was a little, I mean, the number of publications are a little less, 2016, 17, and then 16 and 17. However, there is a dramatic change then again from 2018 to 21. So we can be happy as a small university and developing university. So we can go further. Then the discipline-wise also different disciplines leading in Wellassa University. Agriculture is the highest, and environmental science, then computer science. Our university. Then the last message, actually, last thing that I wanted to discuss. So to develop the economy in the country, definitely we have to bring our research output into the outside. It means we have to collaborate work we have to do with industries. Therefore, it is timely thing that we have to incorporate. So, we are ourselves, we call entrepreneurial university, right? So then you can see in my y-axis, we have entrepreneurial orientation of university. This is the topology of university industry interactions. Then in my x-axis, we have knowledge transfer through knowledge transfer to technology transfer. According to that one, we can have type 1. Conduct seminars, workshops, so on. But when we come to type 2, we are little advanced. In that one, we have to do contract research, consultancy, personal exchange. However, I can say most of Sri Lankan universities are in this type 2. But actually, if we want to go further, we should choose type 3. We have to have science parks, incubators, so on, patent licensing, so on. So if we can go that path, we will be definitely success in future. So you know, the best example is National University of Singapore, NUS. So it is among top 10 world ranking universities, NUS enterprise. So we can also apply this similar model. And finally, this is a chemical compound. Most of our chemistry people directly recognize this one, boron nitric oxide. We have a cation in boron, we have an anion, nitrous anion. What it means? B positive, no negative. And thank you for your attention.
Thank you, sir. It is now time for the Chief Guest's address. To introduce our Chief Guest, I invite Chairman of the Research Committee, Professor Pitawala, back to the podium.
All the participants, it is my great pleasure to introduce our Honorable Chief Guest, Professor Jayantalal Ratnasekara, the Vice Chancellor of Wellassa University. Professor Jayantalal Ratnasekara has had his primary education at Agrabodhi Vidyalaya, Kantale, and secondary education at Nalanda College, Colombo, from 1972 to 1980. Professor Ratnasekara has graduated from People's Friendship University, Moscow, Russia, with an honors degree in chemistry in 1988. Subsequently, in 1993, he has obtained his PhD in chemistry from the same university. Professor Ratnasekara has joined the Rajarata University of Sri Lanka as a senior lecturer in August 1996 and was promoted to the post of professor in chemistry in 2018. He has been the head of the Department of Physical Sciences of Rajarata University for a period of 3 years and the Dean of the Faculty of Applied Sciences for a period of 6 years from 1999 to 2005. Professor Ratnasekara has served in 3 World Bank funded higher education and school education projects such as HETC, TSEP in different capacities such as consultant on quality assurance, monitoring and evaluation specialist, deputy project director, and project director. Professor Ratnasekara was appointed to the post of Vice Chancellor of Wellassa University by His Excellency the President in January 2017 and hold that position to date. Professor Ratnasekara has served as the chairman of the Committee of Vice Chancellors and Directors, we know CVCD, Sri Lanka for the year 2021. Professor Ratnasekara has contributed immensely for development of quality assurance activities in Sri Lankan university sector. And he has served as a member of the Standing Committee on Quality Assurance University Grant Commission for several years. And also served as an international reviewer in external quality assessment in number of universities in Bangladesh. From March 2013 to February 2015, he has served as a member of Standing Committee on General Education, National Education Commission, and served as a member of Standing Committee on Higher Education, National Education Commission from 2017 to 2020. Thus, he has a wide knowledge and hands-on experience on the Sri Lankan higher education and school system. His research interests are in the field of renewable energy sources, environmental chemistry, theoretical chemistry, quality assurance in higher education, science education, etc. He was awarded the Presidential Award for Scientific Publications published in the year 2016 and the National Research Council Merit Award for Scientific Research published in the year 2017. Professor Ratnasekara has been a trainer and a resource person in numerous training programs and workshops. He is also well known as a freelance writer and newspapers author and a translator. Over to you, sir.
Avasaraya Appe Swamin Wahanse. Before starting my presentation and this brief speech, I would like to request the members in the head table to move and take the seats in the audience. Otherwise, you will be finding it difficult to see the presentation. Very good morning, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Wellassa University, let me also warmly welcome you all to the International Research Conference of Wellassa University, IRCUWU2022. I welcome those who are present physically here, as well as those who are joining us online. As we all know, there are three main functions of a university: creation of knowledge through research, dissemination of knowledge through teaching and learning, and community service. Of course, some use the term corporate social responsibility, which I do not believe that exactly match the function of a university. When we copy the concepts from the business corporate sector to the education or higher education sector, we have to adapt the way that it suits the university sector. So I prefer the term community service. So research, teaching and learning, and community service. As a higher education institution or a university, we should be able to balance all these three functions of a university. Or in other words, we should give the equal prominence to all three aspects. Not only research and teaching learning, but to community service as well, where you get the exposure to the outside world and where you develop the skills required by the society of students as well as the staff. When it comes to the Wellassa University, as our Chairman Research Committee correctly mentioned, we always try to balance these three functions. And we all know that in Sri Lankan state universities, some of the new universities have been mainly teaching universities. The research focus has been less in some universities, but at Wellassa University, we have been from the inception given special focus or the equal prominence to research as well. That is, I just would like to show you few statistics. Like any state university in Sri Lanka, at Wellassa University also, we have our own scheme of annual research grants. Of course, when you look at 2021 data, so we have taken a decision not to award grants due to the financial funding restrictions. But of course, 2022, we have started. Hope that with the things, with the development or the hopes that the country will be normal in 2023. So we should be able to give more grants to the our staff members. Of course, in 2019, we have taken new initiative, introducing the short-term research grants with a maximum of rupees 50,000 for a period of 6 months, specially targeting the undergraduate final year research projects. So this is about the funding. Of course, Professor Pitawala also mentioned a little bit about that. And as the chairman of the organizing committee mentioned, that we have been conducting the international research conferences for now long period of time. Of course, we initially named it as called it as the International Research Symposium. Now we have changed the name as International Research Conference, IRC. IRC is not a good term in Sri Lankan context or the world context, but it's also better. Then in 2019, we have established a postgraduate unit in the UW. And at present, we have 37 MPhil students in 4 faculties and 1 PhD student at the Faculty of Applied Sciences. I'm proud to say that 3 MPhil graduates were awarded their degrees at the last convocation, and 4 more MPhil graduates will be awarded their certificates, degrees at the coming convocation. We hope that in the near future, we should be able to convert or elevate this to a center for graduate studies. I requested the director to come up with a proposal for a center for graduate studies. So then the next step will be the faculty. Of course, at present, we have 4 journals peer-reviewed, starting from the Journal of Agriculture and Value Addition in June, which was launched in June 2018. Then the second peer-reviewed journal, Journal of Management and Tourism Research in July 2018. Third one in April 2019, Journal of Technology and Value Addition. And the fourth peer-reviewed journal, Sri Lankan Journal of Applied Sciences, will be launched next month, its first issue. So you can see that in the short period of time of our existence, within 15 years, we have gone far on this path in research. That has provided, as Professor Pitawala also cited, that high output of our research by our staff members. I have a little early data, then I would express my thanks to Professor Dinesh Jayasena, who has given me this data, but I am using it every forum. That data is little old, but it was the latest data which is available at the UGC, which shows that if you take the number of publications per staff, I'm repeating that, number of publications per staff, Wellassa University is at number 1 place among the agriculture and veterinary medicine faculties. Wellassa University is number 4 in the same data in the applied sciences and sciences. So we can be proud that we have achieved a lot during this period, but be positive, no negative. There's no ending to the research. Research will never end. As Professor Pitawala said, imagination what is required, as Albert Einstein said, but I feel, imagination is the most important skill for a researcher. If you can't imagine, you can't become a real researcher. That we should convey to our students as well. Finally, I would like to thank the organizing committee of the IRCUWU2022 for their untiring efforts to make this conference a success, despite the difficult economic and social political situation in the country. I wish all the presenters and the panelists 2 productive days ahead. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It is now time to launch the conference proceedings to the IRCUWU2022 website. A noteworthy contribution was made by a number of individuals to make this possible. We extend our gratitude to the Editor-in-Chief, Professor Dinesh Jayasena, and the editorial board for their untiring effort to make this a reality. I invite our chief guest, Professor Jayanthalal Ratnasekara, to ceremonially launch the IRCUWU2022 proceedings webpage. Thank you very much, sir. Let us now watch the video highlights of this conference's presentations. Thank you for joining with us to watch the video highlights. The time has now arrived for the keynote address. To introduce the keynote speaker, I invite Professor H.M.S.K. Herath, Dean, Faculty of Animal Sciences and Export Agriculture. Sir, the podium is yours.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for inviting me to introduce the keynote speaker of the 6th International Research Conference of Wellassa University 2022. Accordingly, I have the honor and the pleasure to introduce Professor Jung Ming Ho from Chungnam National University of South Korea as the keynote speaker of the day. Professor Jung Ming Ho is a well-known professor in animal science, and since 2020, he has been serving as the Vice Dean of the College of Agriculture and Life Sciences, Chungnam National University, South Korea. He has contributed a part of his academic career as the director of the Animal Research Center during 2018 to 2020, and as the head of the Department of Animal Science and Biotechnology during the same time period at Chungnam National University, South Korea. He is also the executive director of the Korean Society of Poultry Science and an active member of the American Society of Animal Science and the Korean Society of Animal Sciences and Technology. Professor Ho obtained his first degree, Bachelor of Animal Science from Chungnam National University, South Korea in the year 2003. And he ascended his academic ladder by completing his master's degree in nutritional science from the same university in 2005. In 2010, Professor Ho could acquire his PhD in animal nutrition from Animal Research Institute, School of Veterinary Biology and Biomedical Sciences, Murdoch University of Australia. Thereafter, he served as a postdoctoral researcher at the University of Manitoba, Canada, from 2010 up to 2013. With his academic distinctions, he was able to secure a number of scholarships at undergraduate and postgraduate studies. His major research interests are digestive physiology of pigs and chickens, feed ingredient evaluation for monogastric animals, nutrition and gut health interactions, and nutrition and environment. In addition to a researcher, he's a recognized teacher for many courses, both at undergraduate and postgraduate studies or levels. Professor Ho has been able to complete more than 50 research projects as the principal investigator, and his contribution as a major participant in research over 9 years is commendable. Importantly, Professor Ho has also extended his academic and experimental mastery to many other collaborative research projects, and some of these projects have been conducted collaboratively with Wellassa University. For example, there are certain graduates who have worked of Wellassa University who have worked with Professor Ho, and also there are some senior academic staff, members of Wellassa University, who have also worked with Professor Ho. By providing solid evidence in these premier research capacities and enthusiasm, he has published over 130 scientific papers in peer-reviewed journals, including 70 plus papers in SCI journals, with more than 1,500 citations. Also, in the 9 years of his academic career as a professor, he has supervised both master's and doctoral students, 17 from each category. With this introduction, I would like to take this opportunity to invite Professor Jung Ming Ho from Chungnam National University of South Korea to deliver the keynote speech at the 6th International Research Conference of Uva Wellassa University. Over to you, Professor Ho. Thank you.
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Dr. Jung-Min Hyo. Everyone calls me Jerry in the western part, so please call me Jerry. First of all, I'm very thankful for your invitation as a keynote speaker. It is such a great honor to present for your conference. My topic is a review of strategies to reduce feed cost in monogastrics. This is my education and career. I done my PhD in Western Australia and Murdoch University, and I moved to Canada to do my postdoc in University of Manitoba, and I'm back to my university 2013, and I work as a professor in Chungnam National University. So let's talk about the price of the feedstuff. The feedstuff is getting increased, including beef tallow. So it's increasing year by year. So we got to think about, about the feedstuff of the price. So this is very interesting, the chart. So, world population is getting increased. So this year is like 2020, we have about 8 billion people, and if it is in 2050, there will be about 10 billion people around in the world. So keep the previous chart in your mind. The population is getting increased in 2050, about 10 billion people. And we use like about 50% of land for the crops. However, the people want to have more forest than in the current time. The other problem is that the lowering emission. So it's like carbon zero. So people want to have like the clean environment, and then they think about the livestock would make emissions, so they want to have like to lower the livestock. It is irony, the people want to have the more meat, but they still need like a go carbon neutral, like they want to have like a clean environment. So again, in 2050, we need more food, about 70%, but physically we're not going to have like 70% of food, but we have to cover the food in technologies about 70%. So there will be like some technologies. It's about nutrition, genetics, engineering, and so on. So I'm going to scope of nutrition in this presentation. So from this slide, I'm going to tell you about the technologies and the basic technologies, and I'm going to show you how we apply the technologies and the outcomes. This is like pig gauge, real pig gauge. So we got to understand, what is happening in the the intestine or in the gut, using the technologies. Okay, this is like a field traffic, like a scan, like an obstructive period and post-obstructive period. So if the feed come into the body, then how that the food going to digest in the gut, and how they are using in the gut, and if we don't have any food, then how we going to use energy in the body, something like that. This is like about the biochemistries and basic technologies. Okay, to make it more simple, the pig or chicken have like the feed. The feed has the proteins or the starches and fermentable substrate or fat. They all go into the body, or they are making like energy pools. So they making ATP, which is energy, and that energy going to go in the body protein depositions or body maintenance functions or body fat depositions. So this is like a very the the basic chart or the basic information, basic principles. Like the feed has like energy, and that energy we saying like sometimes digestive energy or metabolized energy or net energy systems. Okay, this is another technology. This is like a standard ileal digestible energy or true digestibility. So basically, if we see the graph, we normally using operant digestibility, but we're using standard ileal digestibility. We have like a more energy utilization. So I told you that some information or technologies. So I make 3 topics using the technologies. One is like standard ileal digestibility and the net energy system, and the other one is like feed additives and the others to reduce the feed cost. Okay. So this is like some experiment in 1987, about 30 years ago. They using like canola meals in the pig diet, and they found like significant drops when they include the canola meals in the pig diet. So the problem of that trial was like they using total or gross energy systems for the formulation. So I told you about energy systems, and we think about that if we using like net energy systems and standard ileal digestibility and how it going to be happened. So we done when I was in Canada, we tried to build up like a data set of the feed stuff about the canola meals. So this is like an available amino acid in the canola meals. We compare that canola meals to soybean meals, and when you see like the canola meals, the available amino acid, which is like a kind of comparable to soybean meals, and we measure net energy of canola meals. So this is like a very different from the 30 years study, and 30 years ago they using like total digestibility, and also they using like the gross energy or digestible energy systems, and then they found like a significant drop in like a gross performance. So we evaluate like net energy system, net energy the content in the canola meals. This is very important chart. This is like data formulation, and we like substitute soybean meal to canola meals about 15%. This is Brisca Juncea, Brisca Naples. It's like a different varieties of the canola meals. So when you see the profile of the experimental diet, we set up the crude protein in the same portion, and we set up the same net energy system between the treatment, including canola meals and the soybean meals, and standardizing per megajoule net energy system. Net energy is like the same, and standard ileal digestible lysine is the same all of the treatment. C, we found the same growth performance when you include 0% of the canola meal to 15% of the canola meals. So which is very different. In 1987, we found a significant drop when you're using the canola meals. But we using the new technologies, not new technology, but some technologies like standard ileal digestibility or net energy system to the diet formulation, that we can make better growth performance. So the year 2014, we found no differences at all when we include up to 15% of the canola meal in the diet instead of the soybean meals. See, in your right-hand side, 1987, and your left-hand side is 2014. So you see the difference. Okay, I got just 20 minutes. We talk faster. I'm going to talk about the second topic is the feed additives and the practical technologies. So basically, in the diet formulation, we're using the grains and the forages. They contain kind of non-digestible fractions, or we want to make it the better digestibility in the feed formulation. So I'm going to talk about the multi-protease or the protease, how we're going to use these technologies using the chickens. Basically, we're going to understand the physiology of the chickens, and then we're going to apply that additives in the diet formulation. So this is the trial done in the lab in 2020 or something. So we're using about 450 broiler chickens, and we using the multi-protease. This the design is very important. We're using positive controls, and we're adding a multi-protease, and then we have negative control, which is 0.5% the less the growth protein compared to positive control, and 2% of amino acid deficient compared to the positive control. And then we adding protease in the negative control, also positive control. And if you see the other side, we have extreme negative control, which is the twice deficient than negative control, which is a 1% down growth protein compared to positive control, and 4% down of amino acid compared to the positive control. And we adding protease, which is 150 grams per ton, and we adding twice of the multi-protease, which is 300 grams per ton. This is about growth performance when you're using the protease in the diet. So if you see that the red box, we found the similar growth performance, positive control compared to extreme negative control. See, so when you see day 1 and day 35, we found very similar growth performance compared to the positive control to the extreme negative control 300. This is ileal digestibility of the dry matter. We found when you see the red box, we found the similar digestibility. Also crude protein and energy, we found the similar performance. So it is very basic, very simple. When we're using some deficient diet, using some additives, we found the similar performance. However, we got to understand physiology of the pigs or chickens, exactly, and we apply the additives in the right way. This is about NSP, which is non-starchy polysaccharide, and we're using the multi-carbohydrates to the diet. Okay, this is the trial design that we're using about 400 chickens. Then we have positive control, and then we have negative control 1 and 2. Negative control 1 is 4% energy down, 120 kilocalorie per gram. And the negative control 2 is we reduce 3% of the energy down and 3% of digestible amino acid reductions. And then we're using 1 dose and then 2 dose of the multi-carbohydrates. This trial done by Dr. Vikrama Surya from the Uva University, and he trained my lab about up to the PhD, and he going to the USDA at this moment. So we found the promising data set, which is when you're using the multi-carbohydrates to the negative control, then we found the similar growth performance, the multi-proteins. This is the morphology data set, and morphology also is very similar to the negative control. This is the dry matter digestibility, which is also very similar. Okay, I'm not talking about just additives per se. I'm going to talk about technologies and or physiologies. So when you guys understanding about the physiology of the pigs and chicken exactly, and then we understand some new technologies, which is standard ileal digestibility or net energy system or additives. Then we apply that technologies or additives in the right way. Then we found the promising data set. Finally we could reduce a feed cost. Okay, this is extra study. So that study is done by one of my PhD students, and we measure matrix values of some additives, which is the phytase, I guess, the glycinase, I guess. The slide shows that we have more room for additives, which is we still don't know what is exact the value of additives. So we try to know the maximum performance of additives, and we thought that the additives have more abilities, which means we reduce the cost. So we're using just enough feed additives in the formulation, and we enhance negative controls of performance, and we reduce the feed cost. I hope you understand what I meant to say. This is an estimation of the metrics values. This is we done the trial, and I show you some data, and after this conference you just look up this data and you could understand what it is. So this is a very simple the feed waste. As an animal nutritionist, the feed wastage is like hard to measure and or it's a bit hard to understand. But if we reduce that feed wastage, then we perhaps reduce a significant proportion of the feed cost. To sum up, this study is like if we using standard ileal digestibility or net energy, then we could use the more substitution. I show you just canola meals, but it's not only canola meals, but you can apply the other the feed stuff if you like. And I told you about the additives, which is like a multi-proteins or the multi-carbohydrates that we can use the additives in the feed formulation in the right way. Then we having like a very understandable outcomes. Okay, this is at the end of my the message. I'm making shorter, but I hope you understand my the principal messages. If you have any questions, please email me. I'm going to leave you this slide and the presentation to you, so you look at the data set and just ask me if you have any questions. And thanks once again for your attention and your invitation. And I hope that the conference is like successfully done. And I wanna say hello to Dr. Dinesh, if you see me, and Dr. Prabda and Sean. So please be healthy, and I hope to see you soon, sometime in the future. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.
Thank you very much, sir. Your insights and experience have most certainly added value to this conference. I now invite Dr. D.P.N. Silva, Chairman, Research Awards Committee, to announce the recipients of this year's Research Awards.
Okay, very good morning, Venerable Thera, dear Vice Chancellor, sir, respective deans of the faculties, and my dear colleagues and participants. And thank you for giving me this opportunity to announce the UW Research Awards 2020 winners. And as you all know, UW Research Awards was established in 2016 with the intention to honor and recognize our researchers who do a significant contribution to the society. So without further ado, I will go to the award winners. And actually there are about 42 members will be awarded with the UW Research Awards 2020. And we have actually 5 categories, and we called applications for all 5 categories. And category 1 is for the full article. in refereed non-indexed journals, and there are 23 researchers or academic staff members will be awarded. And the category number 2 is full article refereed index journals, and there are 27 researchers or our academic staff is there who will be awarded. And in the third category is the highest citation award for the year 2020. And for each department, we award one lecturer for that. And for the Department of Animal Science, it's Professor DKDD Jayasena, and Department of Export Agriculture, Professor WAJP Vijayasinghe, Department of Applied Earth Sciences, Professor A.S. Ratnayaka, Department of Science and Technology, Professor P.B. Ratnavira, Department of Tourism Studies, Professor JPRC Ranasinghe, Department of Management Sciences, Dr. KMMCB Kulatunga, Department of Biosystems Technology, Dr. Sasitha Abevira. And for the Vice Chancellor's Award for the most outstanding senior researcher and the young researcher, actually this year we didn't receive any application for the senior researcher. However, I would like to announce the Vice Chancellor Award for the most outstanding young researcher of year 2020 goes to Professor A.S. Ratnayaka. Yes, last but not least, I would like to congratulate all the winners, and also thank you very much for supporting me to conduct this, and we will meet again with the awarding ceremony in near future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Madam. And congratulations to all recipients of research awards. We have now arrived at the end of the inaugural session. To deliver the vote of thanks, I invite Conference Secretary, Dr. N.M.N. Nambapan.
Venerable Thero, the Vice Chancellor, sir, respected invited speakers, distinguished invitees, members of the academic, administrative, and non-academic staff, presenters, ladies and gentlemen, good morning to you all. It's a great honor for me as the Secretary of IRCUWU2022 to deliver the vote of thanks at this prestigious scientific forum, the 6th International Research Conference of Wellassa University. I must convey my heartfelt thanks to our chief guest, Professor Jayanthalal Ratnasekara, the Vice Chancellor of Wellassa University. Sir, without your invaluable support, guidance, and encouragement, this event would have been impossible. Your advice and timely measures always put us on the right track. Thank you for being the strength behind us. I must also mention our deep sense of appreciation for Professor Jung Min Ho, Division of Animal and Dairy Science, Chungnam National University, Republic of Korea, and Professor Amia Baumik, President, Lincoln University College, Malaysia, for their valuable keynote speeches on current research trends. Thank you indeed for accepting our invitation and preparation a valuable presentation for us, sacrificing your ongoing responsibilities. Then I would like to thank the chairman of the research committee of Wellassa University, Professor Jagat Pitawala, for the guidance and support extended. I'm also very grateful to all the chairpersons and panel members who have committed their valuable time to conduct productive and thought-provoking technical session. Moreover, I would like to thank all the authors and presenters who have agreed to participate in this online conference. It's my duty to recall the generous service of our editor-in-chief, the members of the editorial board, and reviewers who devoted their time to select quality piece of work and improve them. Thank you very much. The financial assistance for this event provided by our sponsors must also be recalled with gratitude. continuing a long-term partnership with Wellassa University, Bank of Ceylon Badulla is our main sponsor once again. We are also grateful towards the Singharaja Forest Dynamic Plot Forest Geo funded by Smithsonian Tropical Research Institute, USA, and the Ahead World Bank project for their contribution. We also gratefully acknowledge Ceylon Bank Badulla for their financial support towards the success of this event. Moreover, my thanks go to all our faculty coordinators, track coordinators, event coordinators, and their teams. And also a special thanks goes to the conference assistant secretaries. Without your support, this event would not have been a reality. Furthermore, I would like to record my deep appreciation of our staff, academic, administrative, and non-academic, especially Mr. Ashan, Mr. Tisara, and their supportive teams, Mr. Chamal and his audiovisual team, who ensured that this event becomes a memorable milestone in this history of UWU. I take this opportunity to thank all individuals whom I didn't mention by name, yet contributed in various ways to make this event a success. Finally, thank you all for your physical and virtual presence here, and I wish you all a productive day. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. To conclude the proceedings, let us now rise for the national anthem. Thank you. All guests, participants, and organizers are invited to Hall A2 for refreshments. The technical sessions will begin at 11 a.m. The relevant login links have already been shared with you. We invite you to use these links to log in to the technical sessions relevant to your track. Thank you and have a pleasant day.